There's a truckload of money in football. I'm sure everybody knows this by now. Footballers these days make an insane amount of money from both on-field earnings and endorsement deals. Today, we want to count down the top 10 wealthiest footballers in the world in 2023. 10. Kylian Mbappe, net worth $95 million. The 24-year-old France national team captain is unsurprisingly one of the richest footballers in the world, and much of it is thanks to his recently improved deal with PSG. He now earns about $79 million per year in wages and still receives bonuses from the club that amount to more than $65 million annually. That's about $144 million from on-field earnings alone. And don't forget that he still earns quite a sizable sum from endorsement deals with some really huge global brands like Nike and Hublot. His off-field earnings amount to $20 million yearly. 9. Eden Hazard, net worth $100 million. Hazard right now is really living the dream. After years of being an absolute baller in England and even sealing legendary status at Chelsea, the Belgian winger secured a mouth-watering move to one of the biggest clubs in the world and immediately became their highest-paid player. Now, he doesn't play much. Hell, he doesn't even play at all, but he still goes home with about $35 million every year in wages, and we have not even touched on his bonuses or endorsement deals. Also, the former Belgium captain has a deal that should keep him at Real Madrid until 2024, and he seems ready to see out that contract. 8. Mesut Ozil, net worth $120 million. The former Real Madrid midfielder is an OG footballer and also an OG multimillionaire. He last played for Istanbul Başakşehir in Turkey, where he was the highest paid player. The former Germany international earned about $2 million per year in wages until he retired in March 2023. But the World Cup winner doesn't feature in this list because of his wages. Not even because of his endorsement deals with brands like Adidas, but because of his businesses. Ozil owns a chain of businesses, including the EM10 streetwear brand, an esports team, a sports clinic, and a chain of coffee shops. He also has shares in Necaxa, a football club in Mexico, and he runs Unity Health Laboratory alongside former teammate Matthew Flamini. Ozil has shown that he doesn't only have a brain for amazing passes on the football pitch, he also has a brain for business. 7. Paul Pogba, net worth $125 million. Pogba may have been suffering from injuries this season, but his bank account has not suffered at all. He still earns a little over $11 million every year in wages with an extra $2.8 million in bonuses. On top of that, being one of the most recognizable names and faces in the sport has benefited him so much. He has endorsement deals with some of the biggest brands in the world, including Adidas. 6. Gareth Bale, net worth $145 million. Just like Ozil, Bale is a freshly retired player who hung his boots in early 2023. Before then, the Welshman was playing in the MLS and received an annual wage of $1.6 million. But the wages aside, Bale has had endorsement deals with different brands, including Adidas, BT Sports, EA Sports, and Lucozade. The footballer turned golfer also reportedly earns about $185,000 per Instagram post. Those are some really crazy numbers. 5. Wayne Rooney, net worth $170 million. Wayne Rooney retired from professional football in 2021 and went straight into coaching, but he still sits pretty as one of the wealthiest footballing figures on the planet thanks to his investments and endorsement deal. Through the years, the former England captain has been able to amass wealth through his deals with brands like Coca-Cola, Nike, Asda, Ford, Nokia, you name it. In the mid-2010s, Rooney was one of the most recognizable names in world sports, and he really used that to his advantage. 4. Zlatan, net worth $190 million. At AC Milan, Zlatan earned over $2 million every year in wages. But of course, that's not the reason he's number 4 on this list today. This guy is also one hell of a businessman. The Swedish legend owns 23.5 shares in Swedish club Hammarby IF, He has been a minority owner of the club since 2019. Zlatan buying shares in the club got Malmo fans angry. So angry that they repeatedly vandalized his 8'9" statue in the city. But I'm sure Zlatan doesn't care so much about the state of the statue. I mean, why would he when he keeps smiling to the bank every day? Now, to the top three, and of course, it is the usual suspects. 3. Neymar Jr. Net worth $200 million. Neymar earns over $60 million per year in wages from PSG and is currently the fourth highest paid footballer in the world. Now, apart from his on-the-pitch earnings, the Brazilian still rakes in an astonishing $35 million from endorsement deals yearly. Only the top two on this list manage more than that number in the whole of football. Through the years, the Brazil number 10 has worked with all sorts of brands, including Puma, Panasonic, Ambev, Santander, Volkswagen, Claro, Lupo, you name it. The Neymar Jr. brand is one of the most recognizable in world football, and even in the whole of sports, so it is not at all surprising that so many global brands want to partner with him. Oh, and Neymar has also featured in a few huge movie franchises, including Return of Alexander Cage and Money Heist. The guy is indeed a global phenomenon. 2. Lionel Messi, net worth $400 million. It is an absolutely insane jump from third to second, isn't it? Messi is twice as wealthy as his very good friend Neymar. And is that even surprising? Messi earns about $70 million from wages alone at PSG, even though that number might drop soon with the World Cup champion eyeing a move back to Barcelona in the summer. But it doesn't really matter because the Argentine's wealth doesn't depend on his on-field earnings alone. He earns about $65 million from endorsement deals too. As you probably already know, he's an Adidas athlete and he is the first ever footballer to own a sub-brand of Adidas boots, the Adidas Messi. He also has other deals with huge brands like Pepsi and Hard Rock Cafe. Additionally, he's an ambassador for tourism for Saudi Arabia. On top of all of that, Messi also owns a chain of businesses, including but not limited to the Messi store, hotels, optical, soccer schools, and wine. But while Messi's on-pitch earnings could drop this summer, it could also skyrocket if he chooses to accept the insane contract being offered to him by Saudi club Al Hilal, which would put him over the number 1 spot. 1. Cristiano Ronaldo, net worth $500 million. It is absolutely no surprise that Cristiano Ronaldo is the wealthiest footballer in the world. The Portuguese forward recently secured a very lucrative deal with Saudi club Al Nassr, which sees him earn about $215 million every year, the highest ever salary in the history of football. The former Madrid man, who is the most followed human on Instagram, also takes home about $90 million yearly from off-pitch earnings. Ronaldo is the first footballer to earn up to $1 billion throughout his career, only the third sportsman ever to do so. The 5-time Ballon d'Or winner is also one hell of a businessman. He owns a fashion boutique, fragrance line, chain of hotels, and even a museum. Yes, the amount of money he is raking from his club is absolutely bonkers. But the truth is, if CR7 retires today, he'd still be insanely wealthy. The man is arguably the biggest superstar the sport has ever produced. His status alone is enough to generate wealth for him for generations to come. Now, which player's appearance on this list shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments,